This will begin shortly.
Highway 34 Connection is a podcast where a trio of friends who have become brothers sit down and discuss random topics, or even break down a bracket and even discuss American sports and news. Now sit back and relax as we give you our thoughts and honest opinions on the topics at hand. Once again, thanks for picking Highway 34 Connection.
The following podcast may use videos, pictures, news articles, and even audio from another channel. Highway 34 Connection doesn't own the rights to those. We will shout out who or where we get them for the podcasts. The only copyright is not us here at Highway 34 Connection. Please remember that all of our podcasts are unscripted, unfiltered, and unedited. Podcasts we do are pro wrestling talk, where we discuss the world of pro wrestling and give spoilers.
Talking football, where we talk about the current season of the NFL, XFL and USFL, where we give our thoughts on each week of gameplay. We also give our predictions on what teams will win each game.
Conspiracy theories, we sit down and talk about conspiracy theories and why we think something is real or just a theory.
Let's chat it up. This is a podcast where we just talk about random topics here on the channel. We could talk about anything, so please be warned, our podcasts are intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome to Highway 34 Connection.
Welcome in, if you're here. Give me a minute here. I have got to, try and do something here for a second. Anywho, hope everybody's doing all right tonight. So waiting on Ghost. He's supposed to be coming in. Let him know I have it set up. All right. So now we're just waiting on Ghosty to pop in here. And that should be any moment. So, yeah. Let's wait up on Ghost here. So how's everybody tonight? Today's topic is actually very interesting. It's very surreal. Come on, Ghost. Where are you? You're right. Yeah, there we go. What's up, Ghost?
Not much.
I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
Insidious thinks that we're creating a radar system for aliens.
I'm not creating this. Why would we do it?
I don't know. Why do you do anything?
Why would I want to do it? That is the question on its own. And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
if aliens did exist, let's say they did, they're not coming to this planet ever.
you're not wrong, bro.
Simple. Because why would a creature that's so advanced that they're capable of travel to planets drop by a planet that barely can get to the moon? They were like, we're too primitive for a visit. We don't want anything to do with that. No, they're going to want to try to find something more advanced than them.
Nothing else is there. I don't know. People think aliens want to like dominate us or something.
Oh, and that's another thing. If they did, once they find out how stupid we are, they're not going to want to stick around. This creature doesn't understand how to get to Mars. We've already figured out a light speed. These creatures aren't worth our time. Yeah, see, seriously, that was funny.
No. Trying to find that. Can you guys still see me at all?
Yeah, I can see you.
Alrighty. Let me see. Oh man, I did that wrong. This is weird. I know I saw that because I wanted to talk about it before. Anywho, it'll probably come up here soon when I don't need it to. So, anywho, NASA's wanting to build radar systems at all major sightings of where they have spotted them to open to human public, so we can all see where they're at.
So exactly how is it
That's
we're
what
going
I'm
to have
trying
access to that?
Oh no, it's supposed to make it public. That's all I know. My guess will probably be like an app or something that when you get there, you'll go on the app and.
What, kind of like a Google GPS or something?
Yeah, something. It'll be something like that, I'm sure. It's fucking. It's weird though. I just thought it would be something funny to talk about because you're kind of like me. You can't believe what you haven't ever seen. So
I don't know, man. The way that the world's been going, I can believe quite a bit.
fair enough. Fair enough. I'll go with you there. I'll go with you.
I mean, just the other day, I was watching some videos, and apparently this girl comes up, about early 20s. I forget the technical term she called herself, but she basically says that she identifies as a bird.
Well, I identify as the color blue.
You identify as the color blue, okay.
And my AR identifies as a stapler. Hey, if we're gonna name labels now.
Yeah, well, Heidi got mad at me for saying, well, her parents teach her how to fly yet because she's old enough to be pushed out of the nest.
You gotta be careful saying things like that. It can be triggering to someone else. I mean,
I'm saying, it's like, where do people come up with this stuff?
I don't know. I saw a YouTube video of a woman saying her son identifies as a cat, so she took him to the vet, and the vet said we can't examine him because he's a human being. And she said she wasn't going to sue the veterinarians, but she was like wondering why they couldn't do the job or something. But she understood where they were coming from. But she was like saying what if someone else identified as an animal and they needed medical treatment. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Instead of getting his boosters, he needs his rabies.
Yep, they need their rabies shot every 3 years.
Fucking A. Fucking A. This world, man. The pronouns, gender, bodily fluid, etc.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. As a vet, I would say, okay, well, you need a rabies shot, and then I would go into the counter and get the biggest needle I can find and like, okay, time for your baby shot. Yeah, that's good. That do it.
Dude, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm saying this now. If my job ever gets a cry room, I'm out.
A what?
If my job ever gets a cry room, I'm out.
But man, I honestly think you'd probably be the first one to go in it.
I'd be the first one to leave the facility.
Yeah, you've heard of those, right, Heidi?
What?
A cry room. Basically, a cry room is basically a place they put at your job. That way you can go in there and cry and throw a fit and basically calm down.
Oh, I could use that.
See? My
They're
wife wants
making
it.
fun of me.
You
Cry
can
me a river.
vent in privacy. That way, you don't
Hey,
get
I
mad.
could see our
at
supervisors
another
going
coworker or
in there
someone.
and crying more, though. Actually, you're right. I probably would be the first one. I'm in my emotions. I need to go to the cry room. Sit in there for an hour.
But in all fairness, a place like that, though, you deal with so much stupidity, you probably would like a place to just vent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Vent. I hear psychiatric hospitals are nice this time of year.
Do they even have psychiatric hospitals anymore?
We have one, but you can sign yourself out though.
Just maybe not around here.
No, I thought they shut that down like years ago
No.
because the place was haunted.
No, the old bowling
Yeah.
alley, the old bridge, the old
They got
Old City
facilities.
Bowl. The old Bridge City Bowl is the new facility, bro.
Oh. But you know, remember the one I'm talking about, right? It was on Alta Vista.
St. Joe Hospital.
Yeah. They thought it was haunted.
No, it was. They actually
haunted.
proved it. They actually proved it.
They proved it.
Yep. I was paranormal went in with batteries, and they were all brand new, still in packages, but they were all dead. Brand new in packages, and they opened them up, put them in their flashlights, and they were all dead. Tried 4 different flashlights, and they caught a couple spirits in there, especially when they went down to the old mortuary area.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, the ghost is going to chime in. I mean, the chief. Welcome.
Yeah.
We were doing conspiracies, but now we're on the rants. You already missed a transgender bodily fluid, etc.
What was your conspiracy about?
The government wants to build. Well, not build. I'm not too sure how they want to do it. I remember reading it a while back. I can't exactly find the article now that I read it on, but NASA's wanting to build a radar system open to the public where we could see UFOs at all the major sites where they have been seen over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's going to work. My guess it'll probably be like an app or something that when you get there, you scan the PR code or whatever, and it takes you to it. I doubt it's going to be a building that you walk into. Something like you would see on an F-15 or something like that was what I was reading on. I think I seen it on KCCI, but I can't find the fucking article for the life of me.
Why did I get one?
Well, I didn't tell you couldn't.
Oh, no. But I'm headed to bed because in an hour, we lose an hour.
Oh, who cares? I give up on it.
So at 2, it'll actually be 4.
I don't work tomorrow. I don't work tomorrow, so I don't care.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Our time goes forward in an hour, so instead of it being 2, it's going to be 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, daylight savings times today?
Yeah.
Oh. Goody gumdrops. That means we lose an hour of sleep tonight.
Yeah.
What I just said, that's why I'm heading to bed now.
Roger.
As soon as I get my laptop shut down.
Roger.
Yeah, we're just having fun, poking around.
Yeah, we were talking about a girl that I saw a video a few days ago. She says she identified as a bird.
And then Tidy was talking about a girl she's seen taking her son to the vet because he identified it as a cat.
What, they try getting him neutered?
That's a good one.
No,
I said
Heidi said
rabies shot.
he needed a rabies shot.
No, I said he
Might
should
lose
stick
his
him to the
attitude
vet.
that way.
And I said for the bird lady, the parents need to push her out of the nest. Let her fly on her own.
Mama slacking.
Yeah.
Mama be slacking. Forgot to teach him how to fly.
I'm right, dude.
Teach him how to feed out of her mouth. Yeah. Oh God!
Who's got it?
What in the world is the world coming to?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, where did this stuff start? Anyway,
that's what I wanted to know about. What, 5-6 years ago when they started all this other bullshit with genders?
Hey, somebody Google this up.
Can't. My computer's off.
When did all the gender start? Oh, about the time Obama was on his second term. Would be my guess. You know, I can't help to wonder about the human mind. Elon Musk said this best, and I totally agree with him. When you get into technology, you begin to want more of it, and when you begin to want more of it, it's not good. And I believe that's where a lot of this is going, is the internet.
It's not the technology that's the problem, it's how we're using it.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of the point he was making, is when you kind of want it, you want more of it. And when you want more of it, it becomes bad because of everything that's going on with it. The internet is the major, what was supposed to be a good thing has somehow turned into constant corruption of not just news feeds or algorithms, but the way kids are viewing things, to where adults are looking, mainly parents are saying, oh, it's okay, my son acts like a cat. Really? Do they use a litter box to take a shit? No, they use the toilet. It flushes. Do a person identifies as a dog? Okay, do you use the fire hydrant or the tree or mark your territory every time you turn around? No, you don't. You use a toilet. You flush it.
Oh boy.
So when does the parent grow a pair of balls and say, hey, you're not. You're a human. You're not an animal. Quit fucking acting like it.
I don't know, man. I mean, the parents, I get it. Like when you're a kid, you have imaginations and you have fun. I'm sure I've done it.
Oh, I know. I was going past the school the other day and I kind of smiled because I was going to pick up my son and I was walking past the playground and there was two girls playing cops and robbers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, normal. There is normal somewhere still. And I don't know. It's just nice to see every once in a while there is some things that are still normal in the world.
Yeah. But be careful with that word. It's offensive.
You know what I think about offensive people? Go cry me a fucking river.
Oh, I know. A Cody crybaby.
Cry me a river. Oh, I do have another rant I can join about. Do you anybody know who Benzo is? Or no, Lenzino, Benzino. Hi, Scribble. Ghost, you know who Benzino is?
Mm-mm.
So, you remember, me and you were around this time. This is our era. 2003, some racial tapes came out on Eminem, correct?
Sure.
Well, I had to go back and look it up. These were back when he was a child. So they were still doing this back then. He was 16. He wasn't even famous yet. And somehow they found these tapes of him and rapping or freestyling. And in 2003, he apologized for this. Well, this guy, Benzino, years later, as of this year, is saying Eminem needs to publicly apologize. He never did it. He never did it. So I did my own research. 2003, he did apologize. But guess who else was in this article? Benzino was in this freaking article. The same article that I was reading, he was a part of. And said, yeah, he apologized and it's all good. He did some things. He was young and stupid. We all do it. But now, years later, he's right back at it. Is that just him trying to stay relevant, you think?
No idea.
I mean, everybody does things to stay in the spotlight or to try to keep their fame or whatever. But if you're losing your fame, is it possible that he would do it just to keep his name relevant? I don't know. I just thought it was weird that, I always got told that do your research before you jump to conclusions. So I went and did my research, and my research indicated this guy's full of shit. Yeah, Scribble, we already went from the UFO topic to other things that I base to repeat because, well, I don't want to do a recap this late into the show. If that's what this even is, because we're now on the rants. Oh, Ghost, you said you had something else you wanted to rant about the other day.
Shit, what was it? I don't remember.
I know you said you had something you wanted to rant about.
I know, but what was it? Oh.
It wasn't really UFO talk. It was NASA wants to build or make I'm going to guess it's probably an app because they're not going to make something that's going to be able to be in the public view. But they're wanting to come up with a way in all these major sightings where UFOs have been seen, make it to where everybody can see them with regular radar detection like they have in the F-15s and 16s. I know, you said you love space. But so I'm going to guess, if anything, it's going to be an app that when you get there, you're going to scan the UR code and you're going to be able to link into it, would be my guess. Or it'll be a downloadable app. I don't think anyone's going to deny that there's life out there. It's just seeing it to believe it.
What?
I think Las Vegas was the only thing that's ever gotten close to it. I still want to know what that cop's seen. They showed his partner's camera, but they never showed his. The one that got freaked out. They They never showed his cam, and I honestly wanted to see that.
I think something that was pissing me off the other day is I was on Facebook arguing with a couple of people, and it was kind of pissing me off.
Was it our buddy again?
No. Okay, apparently somebody's having trouble with.
Right? Go ahead.
I don't know.
Somebody was having trouble with.
No. Well, I'm gonna just talk like general. 'Cause I don't want to talk about their dirty laundry. It's not anyone's business. So let's say you got a child who, you got a few kids. What would you do if they start developing like anger issues?
I have one with anger issues. My youngest with my ex-wife. And
I'll rephrase.
You just have to work with them. It's not something you can control. They have to learn to control it themselves. I had to do it myself. And sometimes it still gets away from myself. It's something you have to control, something you have to learn. It's not something your parents can teach you. It's not something a psychiatrist can teach you. It's something you have to do yourself.
But it's still a discipline thing, whether you're teaching it yourself or someone's teaching you.
There's not really a disciplining for it because you can make it worse. Trust me,
that's the problem right there. That's your problem. See, that's the problem right there. Every time you say the D word, people automatically assume the worst. But there's different kinds of discipline. There's a mental discipline.
Not when it comes to anger. Trust me. Not when it comes to anger. You just push farther. As somebody that has anger issues, trust me, the hardest thing I've ever had to do myself is to teach myself self-control. My dad.
That's a discipline right there. Teaching yourself self-control is a form of discipline.
And that's what I had to tell my son. I go, I can discipline you all day, but it ain't going to help you. The only person that can help you with this is you. And till you learn how to control it, it's going to lock you up or it's going to lead you down a path you can't control.
Well, the problem is I'm dealing with was how someone could have like such a young child. I need that. Anyway, no. The problem is that they have like, let's say your child at school gets so angry, and he's like 7, 8, 9 years old. And they're throwing chairs, they're throwing desks, they're hitting other people because of their anger. The problem is that you got to nip in the bud then, because once they get older and they get physical strength behind it, it gets worse.
All right, Scribble? That's right. But I see where you're coming from, but you have to get to what set him off. Like she said, you have to get to that point of view. What led him to that? No one just rashes out because they feel like it. There's always a reason to what boiled to the situation. And without knowing what the boy was going through, I cannot deflect the situation of why he went off. Maybe he had a valuable reason. Like, for instance, I will give you a prime example of myself. I would have been 7 years old at this time. I had a whole classroom, including a teacher, against me. Nobody wanted to listen to my side. Nobody wanted to listen to me, which I got aggravated. Now, you've been around me long enough to know if I get aggravated, I also get angry. And the more aggravated I get, the more angrier I become. So when your teacher looks at you and says, this is why no one likes you because you're a fucking retard. Well, the desk went through the window. I suddenly had everybody's attention. Leave me the fuck alone. Which it resolved me going to the principal's office. When I got down there, my first remark was, call my mother. And he goes, well, no, we need to talk about that. I go, you call my mother. Or I call her. Well, the story the teacher got is not what happened. The only person that saved me from repairing the window and harm to the desk was another student who was in the classroom and verified everything I said in front of my mother. So it comes down to what set the person off and how they approached it. If you get a person with anger problems pinned up against the wall and you constantly pick and pick and pick, eventually they're not going to be able to control it and they're going to lash out, and they're going to lash out violently and very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problem is, though, once they get older, let's say over 18, and they do that, then it's no longer, hey, call your mother. It's
Exactly.
call the cops.
Exactly. But that's why I stood by my situation with Dakota. I had to tell him, if he doesn't control it, where it will lead him. As a parent, you have to guide them. You can correct them all day. You can take stuff from them. And like Scribble said down here, threatening a child with a punishment, yeah, it helps, but it also will result in physical violence, because now they already feel that the whole world's out to get them, and now you're just adding on to that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chief here can help on how the hell I was raised.
Probably the same way I was. And let me tell you, my dad has anger issues too. I had a cowboy boot shoved through at me. Luckily, I moved my head and it hit the wall and missed. So I get it. But a person with anger issues it really just depends on the kid. I wasn't medicated, and when I was medicated, it was worse. Especially being on Ritalin, I was more focused. And when you become more focused on Ritalin, you also become more focused on your anger. So you have more control of other things that you didn't have control of before. You were able to think about things. So, but when you have an anger issue, Ritalin also will influence that a step further. So when I was on Ritalin, my focus on anger became more than just a focus. It became violent. To where before I wouldn't think about violence. Being on Ritalin, it influenced the violence. It made me lose my temper a lot faster and a lot harder. Now,
but you were also you may have lost your temper, but you were also able to channel it.
Oh, was I?
Did you ever get suspended or expelled?
Did I? You see this with a smile on my face.
Yes, he has.
Expelled?
No.
No. Because that, but yeah, real close.
I remember a couple times.
Yeah. And I also, again, had a person tell me the same thing I told my son. If you don't get control of it, it's going to land you in two directions. One,
dead or prison.
Dead or prison, pretty much. So I straightened myself up and controlled myself a lot better. But for a while, I did have papers that I had to carry with me stating if I was angered, whatever happened during that time was not my fault, because I would not have any recommendation, not any remembrance of it, because I blacked out when my anger got too far. So whatever happens at that point. And if I was ever on the verge of losing that control, I would have to show that paper. And I think that's the only reason why I wasn't ever expelled. And looking back, it's not something to brag about. It's not something to be proud of.
Mm-mm.
You're good, Chief. So, and I know my son thinks it's a bragging tool.
But
But
the problem is that the kid at the time, because they're still learning, like you said, they're still learning to try to handle their situation. They're learning to like learn it in their mind, the self-awareness and all that stuff.
yeah,
The problem is too many parents these days, they coddle it. They make excuses. Oh, my kid's just expressing himself. He's just doing this. He's just doing that. They make excuses for them, and then before you know it, the child is now 15 or 16 with the strength behind it, and then they are asking themselves, where did it go wrong? He was such a sweet little angel when he was a kid. Where did I go wrong? And you're thinking to yourself,
I
it
relate,
went
Scribble. I
wrong when you
relate to
didn't nip
that.
in the bud when they were 6.
Well, every kid's different per se. I get it that parents want to protect their child, and they do. God knows my mom tried to protect me, so I understand it. But there were times where my mom even tried to scare me into it. Right? Tell me that we would take you up to Iowa City where they would initially make you mad. And boy, she wasn't lying. They actually did that. And they did everything to make me mad. And it fucking worked. Every fucking thing. And
Ow.
they told her for a child of his age should not have that much anger. And because I was the type of kid that I really felt like everybody was out to get me. Fuck, I feel that way now half the time.
I get it. I feel the same way sometimes.
And when you hit to that point that you feel
Uh-huh.
everybody is out to get you, you kind of wonder about it. It's always in the back of your head. What does this person really think about me? They're nice to my face, but what are they really saying behind my back? And the more you plunder on it and the more you sit there and you really let that sink in, you start to question who they are as a person. Are they fake? Do they really even like me? Or are they just pretending? And it's really a mind struggle at that point because you're trying to tap into your own thoughts, your own feelings, and you're trying to make sense of it. And the more you try, the more aggravated you get because nothing's making sense. And then as you're sitting here trying to figure out this person, some other person comes along and just starts picking at you. And there's your anger. It really does. It almost really does feel like everybody's out to get you, even yourself at that point. And it sucks because the only person, like I said, that can deal with this is you. Exactly, Chief. And your way, the child's way of changing is wrong. And I get it. And I understand where you're coming from too, Ghost. And it's a gray area. It really is because you can discipline the child all you want. But in all actuality, is what you need to find out is what triggered the child, and if it was justifiable or not.
Oh.
What I mean by justified is if somebody walks up and hits you, are you gonna take it or are you gonna hit them back? That is the anger part of it. And there's very steps of anger. There's trying to word this properly to the best of my ability that I was told. Step one is pretty much, you could start out as a debate, and then tempers start to flare. That would be called step one. Step two comes shoving. To somebody that has anger issues, step three is blackout. After that, they don't remember anything. Besides the person laying on the ground, most generally bloodied up. And some lawyers would call that temporary insanity.
Yeah, and that can line someone in the either jail or the loony bin.
What if they had the papers I had? Signed by a judge.
That only keeps you from being completely criminally insane. But if they end up dubbing somebody a danger to themselves or other, they can lock you up.
In that case, why give out the papers?
Because it tells you that, hey, this person can't be put in prison for 10 years,
that ain't
but
what
they
mine
can't
said.
be put in a psych ward until they're no longer a danger to themselves or others. It's
That's
the
not what
difference
mine
between an 8x8 iron cell and a
Padded room.
20 by 20 padded room.
I don't know. My paper said extremely this. Can become unstable when angered, has tendencies of blacking out. This paper is to give you the warning and something else. But it was signed off by, at that time, was the judge, and I carried him when I hit 18. I didn't think I needed him anymore because I had pretty good idea of how to control it. But back then I didn't. And I will be the first to admit it. I didn't. And to this day, I mean, come on, Ghost. You've seen me go off on here and just lose my shit.
Yes, but I also trust you that you know your limit.
Yeah. I did so far that day to where I logged this off because I couldn't do it anymore. I was about to go fucking batshit fucking crazy.
And do you know why I trust you? I trust you because inside your mind somewhere you got the self-discipline to know, hey, you know what? I gotta stop. And that's a good thing, to know what your limit is. And like you said, that's every individual.
But
we all have anger issues. We all have a temper. Our problem is to learn where is our line and where to stop it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As a child at 7 or 8, you really don't. But it's really up to the parent to kind of help jiggle it a little bit.
Right.
Like I said, my mom took me to get help, tried to, even had me in fucking psychiatric evaluations. Let me tell you, that went well.
Huh.
Hey, within 2 hours, I was shrinking them, so. My mind is a very black and gray area. I don't like letting anybody in there. Better alone a shrimp. And when they hear me talk about certain things, they're like, what? Yeah, well, that's how my brain works. What can I say?
Mm.
And you know, anger is the biggest problem, I think, as a child to have. Like I can use Dakota for an example. Last year, a kid told him that, Dakota, do you know where your dad is? And he goes, yeah, he's in a Temlin. He goes, well, you know where my dad's at? He's with me every night and tucks me into bed. You know what my son's response to that was? His face into the locker 4 times. That was his response. When he was in first grade, a kid bigger than him kept stealing his lunch. He lured him into the bathroom and shoved his head in the toilet and flushed it. Yeah.
Because the problem is, too many parents, they think of today, but they don't think of tomorrow, and that's the scary part.
Oh, Dakota thinks of tomorrow, but Dakota doesn't go out looking for trouble. It just finds him, and when it finds him, he's not scared to stick up for himself. Yeah, right. Chief remembers that. That shit was funny. Kid 2 times his size stuck his head in the toilet and flushed it.
But the worst thing a parent can do is make excuses for the actions.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, it also depends on the situation. And I never told my son that any of my kids to go out looking for problems. But I always did tell them if they didn't start it, finish it. But don't you start something. Then you be the sure if somebody starts it with you, you finish it.
Well, that's different. That's defending yourself.
But exactly. And that's where Dakota's anger is his best thing. But he also takes it a little too far. Kind of like the ability of not knowing when to stop. And Dakota, it doesn't take much to anger him to the point where there's no coming back from it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets there, it takes a little bit to calm him down. But
because I just saw this, I don't know if it was on Facebook or YouTube. I'll send it to you later if I refind it.
Oh, but Chief.
It was like a. She was.
I know you didn't get to do this earlier, so if you want to come back in and talk about it, I see your scroll here at the bottom.
Uh-huh. Okay, so the. Oh, good Lord. Anyway.
Yes, I have, Scribble. Yes, I have.
So I was watching this video. It was some 18 or 19-year-old girl who had like a. Like, shit, someone that drives them around. She drives them around, like helps her get her stuff done, and not caretaker. That wasn't the term they used. Oh shit, Rose. Trying to remember what the term was used. Caseworker. Anyway, so the kid, her was her caseworker.
I get it, Chief. I get it.
And she dropped her off at like a hotel or something. Like that's where she was supposed to go. And then the kid would not leave the vehicle. She kept telling her get out, and she was like, "No, I'm not getting out of the vehicle. I want to go here." And she's like, "No, that's not where we're going. I got other clients to deal with. You're getting out. And she's like, "No, I'm not getting out of the car." So then the cops had to be called, and she was still not wanting to get out of the car. And eventually, she had to be grabbed, pulled out, cuffed, and put in the cop car. And then eventually, they had to take because she kept like swirling her head and banging crap around, because she was all going nuts. And when she wasn't even arrested, they were just trying to calm her down. So they ended up having to take her to the hospital where they literally had to strap her down.
That don't help me with a name, at least the first name. The world's crazy, man. What can I say? Even some people can't control their emotions.
Right. And see,
Anger.
that's the problem. That's not really anger that I'm concerned about. It's your emotions in general, because what's feeding it? You know, it's like, I don't know.
It can be anything. I mean, anything can feed anger. Anything at all. I mean, anything can feed emotion. For me, I have days. I mean, even my wife, she can tell you, nice girl. I have days where I just don't want to be messed with. I'll wake up in a bad mood, and it'll be like that the whole day. And those are days that nobody really hears from me.
Right.
Because I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to work. And then when I want to go to work, I want to be left alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to do me.
Yeah, well, that place is hardly magnet for peaceful living.
Doesn't ring a bell. There, Chief. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I'm always afraid when I take my wife to work and she's already in a bad mood. I'm like, yeah, bad mood plus JBS equals she's just going to be a tornado when she comes home. Right, Heidi?
Nice, Treble. Yeah, I get it, dude. I get it. Yeah, dude, I get it too. It's that place sucks.
I think the most important thing to give a child
I know, right?
is love and patience.
Love, you can give them all you want. Patience, you can give them all you want. But I will tell you this. Kids take time and discipline. And if you do the wrong kind of discipline, it can shove them over the edge.
Mm-hmm. So that's the problem. People say the word discipline and they automatically assume beat their ass. That's not necessarily what people mean when they say discipline. There's very different variations. Sometimes,
oh yeah,
as much as you hate to admit that cry room, sometimes that's what they need. They need a room. They need to go into a little room. I mean, what do you think a timeout's called? It's not supposed to mean, hey, go in the corner and be all depressed. It's take 5-10 minutes, calm down, and think, it's like adults, like we're told, okay, well, why don't you take a deep breath, count to 10, and let's try again. It's the same piece of concept. It's a mechanism to the brain to calm down. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Well, you wouldn't.
Because I would be lying if I say I didn't correct my kids. Yeah, I don't smack them all the time. They have to do something really bad. But when you have a son,
I'm not saying sometimes that's not what worries it. I meant that there's
really
just different versions of discipline.
Oh, there is, to an extent. But sometimes beating their ass is the only thing they really understand.
Yeah.
And I say this because sometimes talking to them is like talking to that wall. Hey, I told you to quit running through the house. Why are you still doing it? 10 minutes later, we're running through. All right, you know what? Sit down somewhere. Yep, 10 minutes later, we're still running through the house. All right, smack.
Yep.
I told you more than once.
You're not doing it to hurt them. You're doing it to get their attention.
No, I do it to make them mind. Listen.
Exactly.
Do what you're told, not what you want.
Are they? Oh.
Chief, you're funny fucker.
But he's probably right. We probably should get off of here. before the
it's coming
daylight
up on an
savings time
hour.
kicks in. It might do something weird to the StreamYard.
Yeah, maybe. But all right, guys, have a good night. And we're going to end this one here. As soon as I remember how to do this. All right, there it is. Night, everyone.
I am Insidious. Thanks for watching this podcast.
This is the Ghost, and thank you for watching our podcast.
And I am the Chief. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night.